We've got a couple of exciting announcements yet ahead of us before the before Malcolm Bruce is on for keynote. So I'm going to invite Corey to the table. And as we're doing, Jan Selesky? Jan, could you come onto the stage? Just stand in the corner for a second. We're going to talk about the recognition award for the year, but I think it's been a general consensus among the group that you get the award for the most fashionable hemp employee. So thank you. That's okay. Just parade around.
Yeah, we just want you to dance for a little while. That's it. Or spin on the chair until you're dizzy. That's all we need from you. So we have the privilege of giving an award. Just before we do, actually, I'll call Mark Smith up right now. Mark, if you want to come on up. But just before we give it to him, Dan just wanted to say a few things.
So we're here to talk about Mark, and to do that, you got to go back down memory lane like we started yesterday. Mark came into our life as we got into this hemp industry, which we knew nothing about at the time. And he said that's his number 2 priority, is the hemp industry. And so for Mark, that's a big deal. Number 2 in his number 2 industry in his life is a big deal. So with Mark, you know, we learned a lot of things. Brenda and I, we learned where the ledge was. We learned where the meeting rooms of the ledge were. We learned the parking lot attendant for the ledge. We learned how to go into the federal building to meet different members of the ledge. And so we spent a lot of time in the ledge, and I would hate to be on the other side of where we were. I mean, Mark can be a real pain, and I'm sure he went in there and everybody knew him. Everybody in the ledge knew him, and he knew he represented hemp as his number 2 priority, and that was a big deal. He pushed the industry forward a long ways, and without that political influence, we would be nowhere. If you go back 10 years, we put together a group, and we didn't talk about that here yet, but there was industry representatives, there was investors. We had a group of investors with us. We had government people like Lori Joe, and we said, we're going to go to Europe and figure this out. And so we jumped on a plane, and but before we did, Mark said, I'm going to go too, and I'm going to pay for this out of my own money, and I'm going to make sure I understand this industry. So off to Europe we went. We attended the European Industrial Hemp Alliance meetings. We visited Hemp Flax and Dun Agro, who were the biggest players in Europe at the time. And so we, that kind of dedication where Mark would pay for his way, you know, out of his own money, and have enough knowledge to represent our industry, that's a really big deal. So without further ado, you got it? We want to present Mark on behalf of AHA with the Alberta Hemp Industry Recognition Award, and for all his years of service. And I mean, he's here today and he's still talking to me about hemp, so he hasn't forgotten about it. Thanks for everything, Mark.
I know Perry's like pacing beside us because he wants to speed things up, but and Mark was a school teacher, so I'm gonna like keep him on, but we'll let him say a couple words.
Good luck. I come from a line of preachers, teachers, and politicians, so good luck. You know, it's been my pleasure. I can remember Manny Diol, I got elected in 2015, and I think the first thing he did was grab me by the elbow and say, you've got to meet Dan Madlung. And from that point on, it's just been my pleasure to be involved in this sector of our economy and in the industry. Yeah, I do. I don't know how many of you know this, maybe even the board. The AHA actually got started, and I hate to say this, well, I don't, but by Shannon Phillips in the NDP. Manny said, Mark, we need to get this going, and I said, well, I don't know what to do, and so I sat down with Shannon. She was the Minister of the Environment at the time, and I said, okay, Shannon, if we're going to try to take this industry and make it a little larger and grow it, what are your suggestions? And she said, Mark, a single MLA can't do it. You've got to get others involved, municipalities, counties, etc. So that's what we did. And we created, we got the County of Brazeau, and we got the town of Drayton Valley, and we got Devon, and Stephen Lindop became the first chair of the committee. And we went off to Europe, and I met so many people, and what it really all boils down to is this. It takes a team. You don't build a sector in this economy without Jan and without the ministers and without Laurie Jo and without all of the people that come together and help it to work. And so, you know, I listen to what's going on. Yeah, we've got problems. Yeah, there's things we gotta tackle. You know, you've capital to seed to distribution to you name it. There's lots of things that we've got to overcome. But I know the people in this room, and I know the people in this industry, and I know the heart of the government, I know the heart of the minister, and I believe that those things can be overcome. So thank you for this recognition, and I look forward to working with you into the next few years. Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks, Corey.